These girls are seeking brutal revenge on the men who clap them. The movie kicks off with Katie, caught in a not-so-glamorous moment, squatting to pee in the great outdoors. Sloane, her BFF, shouts at her to hurry up and join the party. It's time to partake in some, questionable substances. Katie initially plays it cool and refuses, but eventually, peer pressure gets the best of her and she caves. After appreciating the fine acoustics of the forest, like a bear shitting in the distance, the dynamic duo retreats to Katie's room to recover from the night's shenanigans and plan their next adventure, a trip to the Big Apple. Katie's mom pops in to announce that they'll be crashing with Uncle Jason for the night, and he'll be their personal chauffeur to the bus station the next morning. Katie tells her mom they'll be working on an organic farm, making her mom practically burst with pride. But Sloane spills the tea. They're in it for the cold hard cash. Enter Uncle Jason, FBI detective extraordinaire. Before the girls hit the road, Katie wishes her mom a killer vacation in Cuba. En route, Katie's phone rings with a spicy ringtone, courtesy of Sloane's twisted sense of humor. Katie picks up her mom's call but gets nothing but dead air. Spooky. Once they arrive at Jason's pad, Sloane gets a wild idea and decides to adopt a new identity. She tells Katie to call her Heather and suggests Katie go by Ripley. The next day, Jason drops them off at the bus station and in true paranoid FBI agent fashion, asks Katie to send a daily code word to confirm they haven't been kidnapped. Classic Uncle Jason. After bidding Jason adieu, the girls send him a selfie with their secret code, which brings a smile to his overly cautious face. Later, Katie and Ripley and Heather, find themselves in a diner, where they bump into Jed and Lucas, two hotties with a side of respect. The boys offer to give the girls a lift to the farm, and after some initial hesitance, Katie agrees. Because why not? On the drive, Katie realizes they've zoomed past the farm, but Jed keeps his foot on the gas. Panic sets in and the girls hold hands for dear life. But surprise! They arrive at Jed and Lucas's family restaurant. Jed insists this detour is a prime opportunity to mingle with the locals and get the lay of the land. Mama, Jed, and Lucas spot the girls and welcome them with open arms. And so the adventure begins. So there they were munching away on their mom's cake when Katie, with a straight face, drops the Apple code word on Jason, which isn't as exciting as an FBI code, but hey, beggars can't be choosers. But before they can say fruit salad, the girls start to feel queasy, realizing they've been poisoned. Talk about a surprise inside. Frantically, they make a break for it like Usain Bolt in heels, but the mother is hot on their tail, ordering her sons to chase them down. The brothers capture the girls and whisk them back to their not-so-humble abode, locking them in containers. It's like an extreme version of hide-and-seek gone wrong. When they wake up, the girls start screaming and rattling the chains like a haunted house soundtrack. But Jed, the resident Debbie Downer, informs them no one will hear them because they're in the middle of a forest. Forest 1, Girl 0. Jed smirks. He then gives them a tour of their new digs. A container bed, outdoor showers, generator lighting, and a bathroom. Basically, it's like camping, but way less fun. Enter Boris, the evil puppet master. He's like a discount Bond villain, berating Jed for stealing his truck. But he's all sweet talk with the girls, telling them it's his job to keep them healthy. Boris then fishes out Katie's phone and starts asking about Jason. Katie, trying to keep her cool, says Jason's her uncle. Boris, though, isn't buying it, and the whole conversation is as awkward as a turtle trying to breakdance. Meanwhile, Jason's freaking out, so his girlfriend Gemma tries to calm him down by revealing she read Katie's Apple message earlier. But it's like a band-aid on a bullet wound. Jason's still suspicious. Back at Creep Central, Jed gives the girls a shower tutorial, while Boris texts Jason pretending everything's a-okay. Next thing they know, a dude named Andrew shows up, looking all sheriff-like. The girls think they're saved, but plot twist. Andrew is actually a client of Jed and Lucas, and he's there for some extracurricular activities. He pops a special blue pill and winks at the girls. Heh boy. The girls try to persuade Lucas to help them, but he's like, nah, and only asks if they have any allergies. Sloane, fuming, snaps back that they're allergic to being kidnapped. Touché, Sloane. Later, after Andrew has had his fun, a distraught Katie is comforted by Sloane. Wholesome. Meanwhile, Jason's spidey senses are tingling and he grows more concerned when he realizes the Apple code was used. Gemma, ever the optimist, thinks Katie just got her fruits mixed up. But one thing's for sure. This is one situation that won't be resolved with a fruit basket. Jed and Lucas, the Discount Blues brothers, usher in a new client who decides he wants Sloane. There's Sloane, looking like she's about to face the final boss in a horror game, lying next to this dude. She's had enough, and in an act of rebellion that would make a llama proud, she spits right in his face. Mr. Clyde doesn't appreciate this llama impersonation, and gives her a smack and her eyes well up. Next, he puts out his cigarette on her skin. Let's get one thing straight, folks. This guy's not just a tool, he's the whole toolbox. Meanwhile, Jason, being the Sherlock Holmes wannabe he is, calls the farm to find the girls MIA. Gemma's busy packing luggage for their Meet the Parents party, completely oblivious. In the middle of all this, our two wannabe blues brothers inspect the girls' chains. Then, like a low-budget horror movie, they hear a far-off scream. They hood the girls, warning them about an upcoming special client. Enter stage right. Pigman dressed head to toe in black, snorting like he's auditioning for the remake of Babe. He selects Sloane, who screams like she's front row at a Justin Bieber concert. Pigman locks her up in a container. Later, Katie, performing her best therapy session act, tries to console the traumatized Sloane. In the meantime, Jason goes all Liam Neeson and Taken and reports the girl's disappearance to Sheriff Andrews. Andrews waves him off with a "they're probably just out partying" excuse. Sure, because nothing screams party like a missing persons report, right? Boris, the self-appointed godfather, orders Jed and Lucas to get rid of the girls, fearing that the FBI might crash their little horror show. The next morning, Jason plays detective at a local diner, showing off the girls' pictures. The owner spills the beans about two guys picking them up in a blue pickup truck, with a sticker that screams tacky and distasteful. While this is happening, the Discount Blues Brothers and Boris arrive at the girl's place with their repeat customer. Katie plays mind games with him, leading him into a trap like a real femme fatale. She then goes full vampire and bites his neck, kicking the bucket for him. The girls manage to unchain themselves, making Houdini proud. Sheriff Andrews, a minute too late as usual, discovers the girls have vanished like a packet of Oreos in a student dorm. Katie and Sloane proceed to hop into their righteous getaway vehicle and blaze a trail out of there. On the other side of town, Andrews is frantically dialing Boris like he just realized he left his phone charger at his ex's place. As our dynamic duo hits the highway, they clock a couple of damsels who might be next on the creeper's hit list. Realizing this ain't no Scooby-Doo mystery, they're not about to wait for some meddling kids to show up and save the day. This is DIY justice. They hit up the hardware store like they're gearing up for the world's most intense Pinterest project. While they're cashing out, Katie casually drops Boris's name, prompting the clerk to make a face like he just bit into a lemon thinking it was a grapefruit. Simultaneously, our buddy Jason is over to Allstate or whatever, claiming he'd accidentally given Boris's blue pickup a love tap. The sweet gals at the insurance place are all, "Oh honey, we can find his address quicker than you can say comprehensive coverage." Cut to Boris, who comes home to find his record player spinning like it's the 70s, and he's hosting a disco. He whips out his gun, but before he can go all Dirty Harry, Katie whacks him with a spiked tennis ball, like she's Serena Williams with a vengeance. Boris is out for the count, and tied up faster than you can say 50 Shades of Grey. Boris, now looking less tough and more like a dog begging for treats, tries to bribe them. As he spills the beans on his hidden stash, Sloane's in the background creating a DIY spiked bat that would make any baseball player squirm. Meanwhile, Jason shows up at Boris's place. As Gemma calls, he's all like, "No worries, babe, I'll smooth things over with your folks. It'll be chill." Inside, Boris is making more noise than a toddler with a new drum set, thanks to a rather uncomfortable interaction with Sloane's new bat. Jason, being the knight in shining armor, charges in to find Boris looking like a rejected Quentin Tarantino character. After the whole fiasco, the gals track down the masked man to a church, where he's busy preaching fire and brimstone. They're not about to let some ink on his arm stop them. The guy tries to intimidate them by calling Katie Jezebel, but she's like, "If being a Jezebel means standing up to creeps like you, then hand me the crown, baby." And wham, one swing of the bat and Mr. Holyman is seeing stars. The gals hit the road again, leaving a trail of justice in their wake. We see they've got the pastor roped to the car like some twisted version of National Lampoon's Vacation. They make a pit stop for matches, and while they're gone, the pastor's scrawling down Bible verses like he's competing in a heavenly spelling bee. When they return, things heat up in a very literal way. Back at the sheriff's office, Andrews is tying up Jason because apparently it's National Tie Up Your Enemies Day. But no worries, our girls have got this all under control, or at least that's what we're hoping. The story's still in motion after all. So the sheriff walks in with two damsels in distress who'd just been whisked away. In the meantime, Katie and Sloane, quieter than a vegan's barbecue, sneak up behind Andrews and gives him a hearty whack with a bat. Jason, clueless as a goldfish with a 3-second memory, has no idea what's going on. He's locked away in his room, probably contemplating the universe or his next snack. Relatable. Next thing you know, Andrews is tied up like a Sunday roast and trying to bribe his way out with cash. The girls are tickled pink by this, probably thinking it's like a human ATM that's gone haywire. Katie plays a little game with Andrews. Pick a hand. He chooses right, and surprise, it's a bullet. Sloane does the same, but all he gets is a handful of matches. Probably should have gone for the left. Nervous, Andrews asks what's next on this twisted game show. The girls, with grins wider than a Cheshire cat, tell him it's time for a round of Russian roulette. Despite his pleas, Katie loads the gun and pulls the trigger. Click, empty. Sloane has a go too. Click, empty. 3 times the charm? Not this time. 4 time? Nah. Meanwhile, Jason is yelling like a reality TV star, totally oblivious to the circus outside his room. The 5th shot, however, was the charm. Katie pulls the trigger and it's lights out for Andrews. Next up, we've got the mother of Jed and Lucas, who after enjoying some vino, passes out only to wake up in a bind. It's revealed that the girls had spiked her drink. What a party, right? Then she spots Jed, perched atop a pile of books like some sort of sacrificial offering. After a desperate plea from Mom, Katie gives the books a kick and down goes Jed. The girls then proceed to batter Jed like he's a piñata at a kid's party. Lucas, the supposed good boy of the family, is next on the chopping block. Sloane gives him a choice. Play whack-a-mom or meet the same fate as his brother. Lucas, in a moment of panic, drops to his knees and promises to zip it if they let him go. His plea, however, falls on deaf ears, and Sloane shoots him too. It's official. This party's a real killer. The girls, ever the crafty pair, plant the gun in Lucas's hand. Gotta keep up appearances, right? And to wrap things up, Katie gives the family's remaining member an extreme makeover with a lawnmower. Talk about a close shave. In the final act, Jason is our girl's Uber to the airport. Katie's mom, clearly out of the loop, casually tells Katie to keep Jason updated about their New York adventures. Jason assures her they'll be okay. Little does he know what they've been up to. And off our girls fly into the sunset, ready to paint New York red. Hopefully not literally this time. Moral of the story? They had that dog in them.